cooperate. I mean, we didn't roll anything. Can you believe that?
It happens.
That means I haven't been out in the field long enough. As much as I should. And we are rolling now. Sure felt ready. So, talk to me about Jesse.
About Jesse.
Yeah.
My great-great-grandfather. He joined the church in the spring of 1838. Went with his family to far west Missouri. Was roughed up and kicked out of there. Went to the area of Nauvoo, Illinois. Served a mission to Indiana and left with the Saints in the early winter of 1846.
So, what do you know the source of his conversion? Or?
A couple of missionaries. Just two average men out spreading the gospel of Christ.
And was he immediately converted as far as
He was. He was. He says he received the message with joy.
And was the Book of Mormon instrumental in that? Did you get a copy of that, or was you just listening to these men?
Just the listening to the testimony of these two men.
So he didn't even have a year until they were kicked out of Missouri.
He didn't.
We talked about his journal earlier. How important is journal writing?
It's very important. A few minutes taken by him completely changed my life. I was planning on going into constitutional law, but my parents gave to me a copy of his reminiscences and completely turned my life around. Grew my hair out, and here I am out on the prairies of Nebraska reenacting his life.
Do you feel like Jesse?
At times, yes.
How do you feel like Jesse? What does that feel like?
Well, looking out over some of these prairies, it's still pioneering out here. In the physical sense, there's something new in each footstep. Each trail is something different, something new, someplace where at least I have never been.
Have you done much hiking before?
Not really.
Do you sense something different walking in the footsteps here?
I do, yeah. In some of the hiking that I have done, it's nice to just go out and get away from life and the city. But out here, it's like I'm back visiting friends. Other people who Jesse talked about in his reminiscences, and other people who've kept journals that I've read. Seeing what they saw, feeling what they felt, it's magical.
Okay, you're okay.
He's touching me.
You betcha. Okay, so so there's something different. This theme, faith in every footstep. Does that have any validity?
It has some personal meaning for me. Every step along this way has been trod by those with a very firm testimony in Jesus Christ. And it's really powerful to see these places that they've gone and see the areas where children were born, where sisters died. It's it's really an incredible experience.
We know the song, I Walk Today Where Jesus Walked. Is there any significance on the trail?
There is.
Did Jesus walk on this trail at all?
I'd say so. Somebody had to keep a watch over them. Each person is a child of God, and the Savior helped them all get to their promised land. Watched over them and cared for them every step of the way.
You're telling us about your most touching experience so far on the trail.
Yeah, the 6,000 ribbons in honor of the 6,000 saints who died along the way. It was a very powerful and very moving experience for me. I was in tears 3 or 4 times, and that morning I picked up 3 wreaths to lay in honor of my great-great-great-grandmother and her oldest son and oldest daughter who died along the way. And I have 3 of those ribbons that I have tied to the strap on my canteen, so that each time I take a drink, I think of them, and I'm carrying them to the promised land.
What's so important about remembering our forefathers? Why is that so important?
Why is it so important? It gives each person a heritage, a hero to look up to. And it doesn't matter whether we actually had family who walked across the plains of Nebraska and Wyoming, or if we're members, brand new members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or if we're a believer of any denomination. It's a heritage of all Christians.
Who owns the trail? Who does it belong to?
Those who remember.
Is it exclusive to Mormons or Indians? Who owns the trail?
Anyone who remembers. We have we have several people out here who are not members of the Mormon faith. And they're the ones that got this thing going. They're out here taking time away from their businesses, taking time away from their grandchildren, taking time away from their wives and husbands. They're out here keeping us afloat, keeping everything working. It's for all people who remember. And a lot of them are moved to tears by the experiences that they have.
Now some of these people have been out on lots of trails, but they've never felt like this before on this trail.
It's really something very special out here. A comparison would be the traveling the roads that Jesus carried his cross through in Jerusalem. This is sacred ground.
Is it just unique to this trail? Is Iowa different than this side of the river?
Nope. It's all sacred ground. People seeking their religion, seeking God. It became holy through the sacrifice of these people. They're giving up all.
Are we just getting carried away with it sometimes?
I don't think so.
President Hinckley said the story can never get too old.
I agree with that 100%. There was a fella out here, one of the non-Mormons, saying that Sometimes I really get tired of hearing about Brigham Young leaving the East and taking all the pioneers out to Utah. Says, but that's better than a lot of other things I hear, and so keep telling it.
We'll hit you up again.
How do you spell your name?
Johnstun. Johnston.
S-T-U-N.
UN.
U-N.
See?